All right, let's find out about The War Within. So, this is the new expansion coming out, The War Within. We've already covered it a couple of times. We covered some great things, some not so great things, and so on and so forth. But this is something I've been interested in because delves are basically the only huge feature being added into the new expansion. Yes, Aku, I said, wow, absolutely covering it right now. And so this came out yesterday, their feature overview for delves. And so as a result, I'm very excited for this because they said that this was going to be like very solo friendly stuff. And if you know me, I love doing solo friendly stuff in World of Warcraft, and I think Dragonflight was a big step in the right direction. So we'll see it. We'll see if this is good or not. Let's check it out. Oh crap! The music, not music. Sorry. Let me turn the sound up. There we go. Let's turn it up to here. You start it. There we go.
World of Warcraft's upcoming expansion, The War Within, introduces an all-new pillar of progression for open-world players. Delves are 1 to 5 player, role-agnostic adventures found throughout Khaz-Algar.
So it's already good, but a little worrying. Role agnostic means you can be a healer or a DPS or a tank or whatever, and it'll somehow make your stuff work. Now, they've tried this before, actually a few times. Like Aku, what are the names of them? I did them. I did them all at once. The Islands Adventures, I think, is what it was called. In was it BFA? And Torghast, that was role agnostic. And so like these are things with very mixed receptions. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's, you know, rough. So this is a little worrying. This is a little worrying. Hopefully it's good. Let's see more details.
Players will typically be able to complete these bite-sized combat, puzzle, and platforming experiences in just 10 to 15 minutes, providing an additional way to level and an alternative path to endgame rewards alongside Mythic Plus.
Right, I forgot about this. This is like one of the best parts. One of the biggest reasons that Island Adventures or whatever the fuck it was called and Torghast was so bad and so like, you know, not well received was both things were incredibly not like optional. It was necessary. It wasn't alongside Mythic Dungeon. It wasn't alongside PvP. It wasn't alongside raiding. It was, you had to do them. So them saying that it's alongside is actually a really, really good thing. I hope it's something completely separate that like you could also do. One thing that they needed to work on a lot in Diablo 4, for example, Blizzard, is that there just wasn't enough variety of things to do at endgame. And with the newest, discussion that we just had a few days ago about the upcoming changes to Diablo 4, they're adding more variety of things you can do. It's not just going to be one thing. It's not just going to be, you know, endlessly grinding a single boss. It's going to be several different things at endgame. If they do that similar way of designing in this aspect of the War Within, that'll be really good. That's the way they should do it. That's the way they should do it.
Dungeons, raids, and PvP.
Welcome,
Players can dive into delves alone or in parties of any number up to 5.
Right.
And any combination of classes and roles are viable, letting you approach each adventure as you see fit. Multiple healers could offer a safer way to travel, but prioritizing damage output might allow you to sprint through at record pace.
All damage, all day, every day.
This versatility allows players to progress with who they want, how they want, and when they want. As you approach, you'll be prompted to choose a difficulty level, called a tier, and can then walk right in. There is no loading screen. Lower tiers are available during leveling, with higher tiers added at max level and Season 1. If you're grouping...
AKA content will be boring, so players whatever. I hope not. See, that's the worry, Pat. That's the exact worry that I mean, that's why the Islands thing was not good in BFA. Like that's one reason it was just like really bad at that point. Because it was boring. But this is like, they're doing only 2 really big main features in the War Within. Sorry, the War Within. Obviously, it's the new zones, new raids, blah, blah, blah. But the 2, like, new real features are hero specs and delves. And that's it. That's literally it.
With a friend or a couple of guildmates, just party up to enter the same instance. If you're looking to meet new delvers, the Group Finder tool can assist with finding or forming a party. In the same way, it helps form groups for quests,
it's Mountain Dew.
mythic dungeons, raids, and custom activities. Whether you group with friends or strangers, everyone in your party can play whatever class and specialization they want.
Okay.
So no one has to sit out or be overlooked because their desired role is already filled. The flexibility of Delves is made possible thanks to your companion NPC. Each season,
This is actually, unironically, one of my favorite parts of this. When I heard that we're going to have a companion NPC, it's going to be... That was like one of the most exciting parts of it. This is actually an idea they got all the way back, I think, from the original EverQuest. In EverQuest, you could hire a random guy and a random follower or whatever, and it could complement your character, and so you never really felt alone, and it made, like, you know, everything was balanced around it, so everything was, you know, very difficult in EverQuest, but you always had this little stopgap of, you know, another way of customizing your adventure. If you were a healer, you could pick a tank. If you were a tank, you could pick a healer, you could pick a DPS. You know, if you're a DPS, you could pick a tank to, you know, tank a mob while you're, like, you know, shanking it from behind or whatever. There was a lot of ways to, you know, customize your little adventure. And it made the game a lot more approachable, even as solo content. Even though, you know, it was very unapproachable. It's like the level of difficulty in EverQuest is much higher. Is much higher. But so regardless, the ability to have a customizable little follower guy, and it being a dwarf and a Bronzebeard especially, is really cool. This is a really interesting feature that I'm super excited about with this. If it's done
you'll be
right.
accompanied by a new companion who can be customized to complement your playstyle.
Right.
The legendary dwarven historian Bran Bronzebeard, renowned explorer and
I'm
veteran
excited
of the
about
Second
this.
War, will be the first to join you. By choosing Bran's specialization, he could be molded into a healer or
Right.
damage dealer, allowing him to fill the role you or your group need. As you progress, Bran levels up too, gaining skills that expand his arsenal and enhance his effectiveness. If you want to focus on damage output yourself, Healer Bran is happy to throw a
Interesting.
potion on the ground that heals
Okay.
allies.
So you gotta
Or,
pick it up?
with a damage-focused Bran, you could activate his Gryphonen's battle harness, which lets him bombard.
Oh, it's actually really cool. I like this. Like, I like that they're putting a lot of detail into the random, like, you know, friend character that you get. Like, this is quite a bit more detail than I expected, honestly. This is a good thing.
Enemies with lightning hammers from atop his loyal Griffin. Once you're max level and Bran is of a high enough rank, you'll begin earning
Oh, okay.
curios. Equip Bran by choosing a combat curio.
Once a party member's health falls below 40%, the idol awakens, manifesting itself in the air before crashing into nearby enemies, taunting them for 6 seconds and dealing physical damage split. Okay. All right. So if you can, like, do multiple of these and, like, you know, swap them up and, you know, tailor make them and stuff, that adds quite a bit of really good customization. This is really cool. I like this a lot.
And a utility curio to give him trinket-like effects that empower your party. In addition, Bran can help you find lost supplies and delves that can help you in your runs.
Right.
There will be 12 different delves to explore at launch, and you can expect to find some in each of the new zones. In the Isle of...
You know what I just thought of? I think one thing that would make this really interesting is I'm hoping, maybe I'm giving Blizzard too much credit. I don't know. But what I'm hoping for is, I having leveled up a couple of characters in Dragonflight, it was a very interesting experience, because in the path to leveling up, once you get to Dragonflight itself, you know, it's not too big of a deal. You can find groups for pretty much anything in the open world, and, you know, do whatever you need to. However, in the early game, it's so empty. No one is doing old world content at all. One thing I would love to see is if they do delves right, if it's, you know, interesting content that is more accessible for people, gives another way of gearing, gives another way of leveling, all that good stuff. If they do it right, it would be really cool to see them add a feature to make every old world dungeon a delve, because I would love to go back to like old Shadowfang Keep, or whatever dungeons from all of the previous expansions when you're leveling, and be able to actually do them, but do them as delves, as opposed to not doing them at all because you can't find a group with 5 people. And they tried many other ways to incentivizing with item boxes and stuff like that, to chain dungeon runs and stuff, but you don't want to deal with that sometimes. And also, like, let's be real, WoW community is quite annoying, and they kind of suck, and they're kind of toxic. So having this be an option, as opposed to dealing with the world's most normal WoW players, this is only a positive thing. So I think this would be a really good thing to expand into previous dungeons that are just completely out of style that no one does anymore. Sammy, Mad Raving, hope you guys are doing great tonight. Welcome.
Dorn, you venture into the Earthcrawl Mines,
Okay.
a dig site that has been taken over by Nerubians. In Hallowfall, you must carefully explore the sinkhole, the very bottom of the zone,
Okay.
where all the water gathers and Kobus lurk and lure in their victims. In the Ringing Deep's dread pit, you'll spelunk
I like
into
this
a
look.
forward base of operations
That looks
the
cool.
Nerubians are using
looks
to
really
lay
cool.
assault on the machine speakers. And more adventures await in Azj-Kahet to discover for yourself. Upon the start of Season 1, a 13th delve will become unlockable. Focusing on a
I like the
single
Beetle
boss
guys.
encounter, players must now brave the enemy's lair and defeat the greatest threat yet, Zevzik.
Zevzik is such a lackluster name for this Chad. I feel like this Chad deserved a better name. I don't know.
Delves are
He looks
designed
really
with
cool, I just don't like his
replayability
name.
in mind and feature changing objectives. This means delves are dynamic, with each
Oh.
offering multiple experiences.
Oh, that's interesting.
Delve variants are unlocked at max level, similar to how world quests are unlocked,
Okay.
with different variants available on a given day. Perhaps one day you're sent on a mission to rescue a group of Earthen from the Nerubians, but on another you find yourself working with the Arathi to burn all the Nerubian nests in that same location.
That's actually really cool. Now, if again, like, this is a will Blizzard do it right situation. Procedural generation is really hard to get right. It's a balance you have to strike. And it's clear that the Blizzard with these delves are trying to strike the balance between a lot of different things. They're trying to strike the balance with the rewards. They're trying to strike the balance between, how hard or difficult it is. They're trying to make it, interesting but not boring. They're trying to strike a lot of balances here. This is yet another thing that to strike the balance of. Because procedural generation, at its worst, can feel like an absolute chore. And at its best, can feel fresh. And it can, make it feel like almost like a roguelite situation, which is why we love roguelites. Roguelites are really great for this reason. And a big part of the procedural generation is, adds to it. So this will be interesting. I'm excited, but I'm worried, Like, it's one of these situations where there's so many different handles, so many different knobs to twist and pull to strike the balance here. If they get it right, this will be insane. And if they could easily get this wrong, though.
Thanks to their dynamic objectives, you could visit the same delve multiple times and have completely different adventures. Completing delves will reward you with a variety of valuable loot. Get to the treasure room at the end of a delve, and you'll find chests that will
Right.
provide you with guaranteed core progression rewards, upgrade track currencies, delve currency, and more, including a unique reward. The Delver's dirigible mount can only be earned through delves. It's a cosmetically customizable flying machine that allows you
that's
to mix
cool.
and match
Oh man, I actually really like this. We don't have like too many like wacky things like this anymore, I feel like. And I really like I remember this feel reminds me of the Mech Engineer's chopper from Wrath of the Lich King. And it was just like this, it was so unique. People wanted to go engineering just to get it. And I was one of those. I had to get it. And I loved it for that reason. I love that they're doing this. And I like that they're making, delves necessary for like something fun like this. It's not necessary like Torghast was necessary. It's not necessary like Island Expeditions. That's what it was called. Expeditions. Like Islands Expeditions was. This is like a, a fun addition Fun addition. I like
various
that.
modules to create your own dynamic flight masterpiece. As you complete more of these adventures and journey into Azeroth's core, you'll earn new customization options, with more choices added each season. Core progression items earned scale all the way up into the endgame. They are awarded at item levels relative to the difficulty of the delve, similar to how Mythic Plus dungeons and raids.
Oh. Okay, so this is how they're going to make it compete with Endgame. Not compete, but like, be an addition, another way of doing stuff into the Endgame. This is good. I really like this.
Work, with items capping out at power levels comparable to heroic raids or Mythic Plus 5 keys.
Okay.
Even the Great Vault itself is being updated to include reward choices for completing delves,
Hot
offering
take?
players a chance to earn powerful items on a weekly basis.
Didn't mean to double click. It took me out of the full screen. Hot take. I don't think this should be only up to Mythic 5 plus keys. I think this should be straight up to max gear. I think this is one detraction. This is straight up one of the real cons I've seen so far. If they make it only up to, upper tier heroic gear or whatever, people will just not want to do delves. Because people will only want to do raiding at that point, because raiding has the best gear. They should make it equal with raiding gear. That's my opinion. I think they should make it completely on parity with raiding gear. Or like upper tier PvP gear, I don't, is that weird to you guys? I think it's a good idea. Because if you don't get max gear, you just want to do it less. Straight up. Like, you can do it for, the itemization, you can do it for the pets, you can do it for this, you can do it for that, but it's just not even close. It's just not even close. Yeah, so I think that's a really, really big thing. They should make it on parity with max gear. Because, like, dude, raiding and, like, all the other endgame activities are so hard to get into now. Like, they're even worse than they used to be. With, Raider IO, with people using all these add-ons, with all these things. Like, if you're not spending, like, days at a time doing, like, max level raiding, max level Mythic Plus, people just don't let you join a group, even if you've already cleared the content, even if you're good enough, blah, 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 even if you know the fights, everything. They're just so insular. The WoW community is so insular. And really, frankly, they deserve to have something on parity for a single player type of way of playing the game. I maybe that's a hot take, but I will die on this hill, straight up.
Delve currency can be used to buy collectibles and entry-level Warbound gear. You can also find the collectibles and Warbound gear in chests directly, as well as transmogs, pets, toys, recipes, and reagents. Keep an eye out for new hat cosmetics that can drop.
Hey,
and
I like
embrace
this.
Your inner
Cosmetics
kobold
are good.
Or fungus. Are you ready to dive into delves? Experience a more flexible, more customizable World of Warcraft in the War Within.
Right. And it's really sad because, like, MMOs are supposed to be community experiences, right? However, I think Blizzard has realized their community is so shit, and the add-ons and the necessity for add-ons and all these things are such shit experiences that most people don't want to even do raiding anymore. Most people don't want to do upper level PvP anymore, and that's why they're even starting to go down this path and just kind of just do single player content. But I think this is like just a good thing. And I think WoW's numbers will be healthier because of it. And maybe this will kind of spur people to just be nicer. I don't know. Like, this is like an incentive to add. This is an incentive to add. So again, I like this. I'm very, very down with this. I love the changes to have a follower like Brand Bronzebeard being a customizable follower. This is a very, very interesting and huge thing that they really did well in EverQuest, even all the way back when. So it's not like this is new. It's not even new for Blizzard, dude. I mean, in Diablo 4, sorry, not Diablo 4, Diablo 2, a huge part of the game was getting your followers. and gearing them up, and they would follow you around. They were customizable. You could get the archer, Amazon lady, and Act 1. You could do like other characters in the future acts and everything like that. Well, no, yeah, people will be toxic no matter what, Angel. But dude, you have to remember, in Delves, you can do them solo. So whether people are toxic or not, you just don't have to deal with them. That's my point, bro. That's my point. And the WoW community being insular idiots, it just won't affect you as much. So it's kind of a band-aid solution, but it helps. That's my point. That's my point. But I do agree with you. I do agree with you. But yeah. We'll see. I really like the path they're going down with this. I hope that they make the gear higher quality. Because if they give another reason for people to not have to mythic raid, and to do like, high tier PvP and whatever for good gear, it'll make those things less necessary, and that's only a good thing. I would only be happy with this decision, and frankly, I think the very, very silent majority of World of Warcraft players would agree with me. I mean, granted, those are not the ones that post on Reddit, that post on Twitter and all that. You only hear from the most insular, super, super into it, WoW heads. So it's not like you'll hear from the very, very non-vocal majority here. But I would argue that I speak for them when I say this. I think this is a good thing. I hope they expand this to old world content as well, old dungeons that no one plays anymore and stuff. I think this is really cool, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is really cool. I'm excited. Hope you guys are too. All right, quick bathroom break, and then we're gonna talk about some spicy meatballs, boys. We're gonna talk about some spicy meatballs with Cities Skylines. We're getting through a lot of chatting tonight. I'm really happy.